Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Unplayable Podcast. Plenty of cricket to talk about this week. My name is Josh Schonafinger, joined as always by Kane Richardson. Richo, how's your week been, mate?
It's been good. I'm a bit nasally, so I apologise. It's spring has sprung. Hay fever's in the air, so apologies if I'm a little bit different on the tones for the people listening. So, but yeah, otherwise good.
That's okay. Everyone can relate to that, I'm sure. Now, there's been plenty of cricket, as I said. The Aussie women are in India. The Aussie A boys, they're in India as well. The One Day Cup has started. The WNCL is not far away. Where do we want to start with your weekly winner this week?
Well, like you said, the season kicked off here in Oz yesterday and internationally a couple of days ago with the girls over in India, but I'm going to give it to the Tassie Tigers. I said last week, there's something about them. I've got stocks rising.
That's true, yeah.
And to be honest, at the halfway mark of their batting innings, I was quick to bury that. But my man, Matt Kuhnemann from the Gold Coast Dolphins, pretty good all-round game that.
Soon to be in Magic.
Soon to be, well, yeah, one of the inaugural signings for the Magic. But how was he not man of the match?
Who got man of the match?
I think Curtis Patterson did, which I understand he made 100, but 50 not, and he bowled well. Pretty good all-round game, but I'm giving it to Tassie, but to him and Brad Hope for that match-winning partnership. And if I may indulge, reminded me of a match-winning partnership from number 11 and number 9 2 years ago against New South Wales. So they've got form on their side, New South Wales. They don't know how to finish teams in the One Day Cup in the early spring of the cricket season. So yeah, it gave me some good memories watching that yesterday.
Well, we'll let you indulge because I had that in my notes as well. The match you're talking about is from October 2023. You and Gurinder Sandhu for Queensland, last wicket partnership, put on 70-odd to get Queensland over the line against New South Wales. What happened? How come they couldn't get you out?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure what happened. You know, everyone has their day. But it was so yesterday was a record breaker for the ninth wicket.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Gurinder and I were the record for the 10th wicket. So there's a piece of unwanted history for the New South Wales Blues there where they can't seem to finish off the tail. But it was a pretty similar circumstance where there was quite a lot of time left in the innings. So as tail enders, you're just concentrating on not getting out. And then also as tail enders, you bat for 10 minutes and you feel like you're Brian Lara. So the runs can start flowing in weird and unusual places. So, yeah, it did give me good memories of that day 2 years ago.
Is that your finest moment with the bat?
Oh, yeah. Well, at this level, definitely. I think just because of the unexpected nature of putting on a record-breaking partnership, and I remember our one. I'm definitely indulging here, but ours was we got the bonus point because we had so much time left in the innings that we got it with 10 overs to spare. So, I think what I will say, my finest moment with the bat was the 6 I hit to win the game off Ben Dorshus inside out over long off, like and. Every time I talk about Dorsh now and he's flying in international cricket, it's like I'll just pull up that highlight. But that was definitely you always want to hit a 6 to win a game, so that was my one and only moment with the bat.
Brilliant, mate. My weekly one was also Matt Kuhnemann, so I think that's the first time we've actually had the same. But how could you go past him? His first 50 ever in professional cricket, and as you said, a 101 run stand for the 9th wicket. It actually brought back memories of the test match in Ahmedabad that he played 2 years ago where he opened the batting for Australia. Usman Khawaja wasn't able to fill in that spot in the second innings. And I just had to look through his test innings, Matt Kuhnemann, so far. He's only had 6. And he's either batted at 1 or 11 in all of them. So that's a nice little piece of trivia.
Well, you never know what you're going to get, do you? He's one of those guys. He works really hard in his batting. He's super confident on it. But I've also seen him in like club cricket get out where like the ball's hit literally the top of the handle and it's gone straight up in the air and he's been caught. Like you really never know what you're going to get. But he does work hard, and I think we're seeing like a guy who's going to continue to develop his game and get better, and he's going to play a lot of cricket for Australia. So he's a super competitor.
And I feel like maybe this is talking a bit out of tune, but since Warney or Brad Hogg, we haven't had a spinner who's been a really solid, consistent contributor with the bat. Is that fair to say? Am I missing anybody?
Fair. Well, I would say in the same game, Tanveer Sangar's improved his batting out of sight. Like, he was batting 11. I remember playing domestic in England with him. He was batting 11 behind guys who genuinely couldn't bat. And then all of a sudden he was making some runs last year. He hit a massive 6 over point yesterday off Billy Stanlake, like kind of gave room and cut. So I think because of his age, he keeps working on it. I think he's definitely could be of that mould where like he could hold down an 8 or 9 in international cricket, I reckon. And again, he works super hard. So yeah, it's a good point you raise. I'm not sure Cooney's that, but he is a test opening batter. So maybe you're right.
On Tanvir, he was one of only 3 New South Wales players to hit double figures yesterday. And Ollie Davies told cricket.com.au last year that those two have a really good relationship, and Ollie gives Tanvir a lot of batting advice and Tanvir gives Ollie a lot of bowling advice. So
that works well.
Hopefully they're...
a couple of all-rounders in the making then.
Absolutely, and both very good, promising players for Australia. Let's get into the Australian women in India. They smashed the hosts in the first ODI in Chandigarh. That was a couple of days ago. 282 they had to chase down, which is the 4th highest run chase ever in women's one-day internationals. And they did it 2 wickets down, Richo. Phoebe Litchfield, 88. Beth Mooney, 77 not out. Annabelle Sutherland, 54 not out. It was one of the most dominant chases we've seen in the format, especially when you consider that they haven't played a match for 8 months in ODI cricket.
And I imagine they haven't been on Indian soil for that long either. And I read that it was, as always, hot and humid, like the acclimatisation to come from winter. And some of the girls have been playing in England, some have been playing the A series, but it's very different conditions. So then to roll up first game, you would be excused for having maybe some cobwebs at some point, but that was clinical. That's almost like how you want to finish your World Cup campaign. And they've started that way. So it could be ominous for, the rest of the world watching that. I did tick off Louis Cameron's breakout. Cool. This young lady named Annabelle Sutherland, if you've never heard of her, just started beautifully. But also, as you said, Phoebe Litchfield, pretty just clinical in how they went about it, didn't they? And same with the bowlers. They got some work into it. Quite a large number of the girls got some overs in, as we said, hot and humid conditions. So what a great way to start a tour.
Yeah, Louis' pick of Sutherland has received a few interesting comments on social media, but maybe this, to back up his point, this is the start of Sutherland going from a great player to a legendary player, perhaps.
Well, there was a caveat attached, and you can't necessarily include that on a social media post, which the comments were pretty quick to rinse him on. But he did say she's going to go to another level and we're going to start appreciating her. So I would say it's off to a good start in that sense. And how much more cricket has she got ahead of her on this tour now and this next 6 weeks, a month? So, really good early signs.
Yeah, player of the tournament would certainly help with that, wouldn't it? You mentioned the hot and humid conditions. Elise Perry had to retire her with a calf cramp, but hopefully she'll be all right for the second ODI, which is taking place on Wednesday night. So by the time this episode comes out, second ODI will be done. Hopefully Australia get another win there. Let's stay in India for the Australia A series, and Sam Konstas is the headline there, 109. In fact, he hit a century in a session over there in Lucknow. It was a fantastic display. Unfortunately, no live stream for us to watch on that one, but we have the scores and a few photos. Campbell Callaway got 88 and Cooper Connolly got 70. And they're in a really strong position after day one. Again, by the time this episode comes out, day 2 will be complete. But 5 for 300 on the opening day of what's going to be a tough tour against a strong Indian side. Richo is a really promising start for Australia's next gen. Yeah,
and again, the same point that I just said about the girls applies to these guys. Like they're coming off a pre-season indoors for some of them or like cricket in Darwin. It's very different to a 4-dayer in India. So to win the toss, I assume win the toss and bat and then go pretty big on day one for a lot of guys who, outside of maybe the odd spin camp tour to India, probably haven't played any competitive cricket.
No.
And they're coming up against guys who, played in that Indian series recently in England. Like these are hardened international cricketers and they're putting their foot down day one. Sam Konstas, perfect timing just to throw his reminder back into everyone's heads. And Campbell Callaway, who's also been spoken about as a possible inclusion come November. So, the competition's hot. It's on. And also, again, another breakout star, Liam Scott. He's got the opportunity tonight or today, this afternoon, to press his claims and just tick another box for you for one of your calls earlier in the season. So it is a really strong team the A's have put together. So it looks like it'll be a really good game.
Yeah, and for Konstas, he got 140 in the New South Wales intra-squad match a couple of weeks ago. Sean Abbott was one of the bowlers he was facing that match. So good signs for him early in the season. I like this quote from him after the match or after day one. he said he had to face a few demons mentally out there. And when you hit 10 fours and 3 sixes in a century in a session, it doesn't seem like there'd be too many demons.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, he's never actually batted in India. He was on that Sri Lanka tour earlier in the year, but for a first knock in Indian conditions, that's pretty good.
And he's still 19. I still have to remember that. And that's the beauty of the quotes, which will be great for a job like this that we have to dine on. But he's still 19. So he's going to give us such good content, but also it's just crazy how at that age you can be putting together such a great start to a career. And, people are saying he shouldn't be there for the Ashes, but he's going to make up for it. Whether or not he is there in November, he's going to make up for it over the next 15 years. So it's pretty exciting as a fan of Australian cricket to have a kid like this who's just, almost reminds me of Phil Hughes in a way that he's accomplishing things and making scores at his age that not a lot of his peers are doing. And that's what reminded me of Hughesy. It's like this prodigy that as they go up a level, just continue to rise their game to it. So yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the thing that always amazed me with Hughesy was just how many hundreds he had hit. I remember some sort of stat that he already had 100 hundreds by the time he was 20 or something. And you just think, wow, every level he plays, he tons up. Yeah,
well, and that's what Sam's starting to do, isn't it? He started the season in the Shield cricket last year with double hundreds. Guys at that age don't tend to do that. You tend to give them a couple of seasons leeway of just finding their feet. And that's what I mean. He's got this appetite and this attitude and it's great. It's like that New South Wales. It's not arrogance, but it's confidence that comes with dominating junior cricket playing for New South Wales. And that's why I feel like it's such a Hughesy relatable career in the making. So super exciting to sit back and watch this guy.
Absolutely. Now, Campbell Callaway, we touched on, he got 88. He was opening with Sam Konstas. And although there was no live stream, we do have a photo on cricket.com.au of him batting in his baggy, we'll call it a baggy green because it is green, but it's not the official test cap. And we had kit week last week, so we like to dine on these sorts of things. But do check it out if you like. It's a great look, especially in subcontinental conditions. Get the cap on, 2 spinners, doesn't matter, just play it away.
Well, that was the Michael Clark. It wasn't it the 100 call for the baggy on your in the 90s. Probably doesn't happen as much. Well, I suppose it does, doesn't it? Steve Smith still pulls it out on the subcontinent tour, and guys all the time do it in white ball, but it's not the same as the baggy. The baggy just has that. You talk about confidence. When you're batting with a baggy on, you're almost invincible, aren't you? So, yeah, good on him. That's what A cricket's for.
Definitely.
And he backed it up with 80 odd. So he's a serious talent coming through. We spoke about Victoria's young talent coming through, probably the best in the country in my opinion. So he just backs that up with a great performance day one.
And Ollie Peake, he's in there as well. He didn't get any runs on day one, but he's still a teenager as well. Yeah. So look out for him in the coming seasons. Let's get to the One Day Cup, which we did touch on off the start. New South Wales started the One Day Cup with 224 at Cricket Central. Curtis Patterson got 110. Great way for him to start the season. He's really found his groove again after a couple of tough seasons, but now he's well and truly back. Only 2 other Blues got into double figures, though. Moses Enrique's 41 and Tanvir Sangha, as we touched on, 26. And Tassie fell to 8 for 124 before Brad Hope and Matt Kuhnemann, of all people, got them over the line. It was one of those matches where you didn't sort of see it coming, and certainly I must admit I turned it off at one point. But when I saw the scores had even up a bit, I certainly watched the last couple of overs.
Oh, it's amazing starts to the season. It's One Day Cup, especially when you got guys playing like that are, again, ready for international tours. It's such a good competition because everyone cares, everyone's passionate about their state. And yeah, it's just a great way to kick off the summer. I did watch quite a bit of the first innings. It did look tough to bat. So Curtis Patterson to make 100, as you said, he didn't have a lot of help from the rest of the batting order, and it was a good attack. Nathan Ellis through the middle, Billy Stanlake, Matt Kuhnemann. Balls will keep him pretty low. They challenged him a lot upstairs with the short ball, and
they did.
And he, to be fair, he had answers for basically everything. So again, we're talking about all these guys who can open the batting. He's just quietly going about his business on the back end of a really hot end to last year. So, and he averages, what does he average in Test cricket? 140 or something. So he's got the runs on the board. So he's always an option. It's always good to have options like that, continually doing well in domestic cricket. But Yeah, I was the same. Thought my phone was glitching in the run chase. I don't have the CA app, so I was on Safari and it just kept glitching. I thought that can't be right. And then all of a sudden, they do it. They do it comfortably. So it looked pretty demoralising for the Blues, as I said, to get them in that position, not finish things off.
You don't have the CA Live app?
Yeah, I'm not a big app guy. I like to just go through the internet.
That's the inefficiency, mate. Just get the app, put it on the home screen.
All right, I'll download the app after this episode. But no, it always keeps things interesting because you got to refresh the page and you're like, what's going to happen? Something's happening here. So yeah, I'll download the app.
Okay, good to see Billy Stanlake back in action. Touched on him. He can still bowl lightning quick. He got a couple of wickets as well, including the opening wicket of the season, which was a beauty to clean bowl Blake Nikitaris. And we do love a fast bowler on this show, of course. So hopefully Billy can stay fully fit for a good period.
Yep, and another name that people forget about, I think, but has played more for Australia than what you would think and had some successful period there, especially in T20 cricket. And even in one-day cricket, he was starting to really grow into that kid that man that everyone thought he would be as a kid. And then obviously things haven't gone as a straight line or as what he would have liked, but injuries have held him back. But yeah, someone at that height who can bowl that pace, there's always going to be a temptation there to, if he's bowling well, to pick him. So, and then we spoke about Tassie last week with that bowling attack, but they've still got Riley Meredith who didn't play.
Yeah.
They've got a great stable, and that's why I'm so hot on them. I think they're just building something really nicely there. So, Curtis Patterson making runs against that on a tricky wicket counts for quite a lot.
Don't forget Curtis Patterson. It's great that in the One Day Cup this time of year we do get a lot of Australian international players playing. Glenn Maxwell's going to be playing for Victoria, even though he's retired from 50 over international cricket, which is great. Marnus Labuschagne, the likes of Adam Zampa for New South Wales. And I do want to touch on Zampa yesterday or in the opening match on Tuesday, because when he went out to bat, he had sunglasses on. Now, we touched on this a few episodes ago. The West Indians have done it a bit over time, and even Maxwell. But Adam Zampa, now we will put the footage up on our socials, but it's a new look for Zampa, I think.
Yeah, it is. No, I reckon he's done it before.
Has he? Yeah.
I don't know what level. Maybe not. I think he has for Australia. I reckon he has.
Okay.
Maybe overseas, so people didn't see it. But he's got eye. I'm not saying issues, but definitely there's some sight. So the glasses they're there for a reason. They're not purely there to look cool like, Chris Gale wearing Oakleys.
Okay.
Wearing Bollets and Ray-Bans. Here's our prescription sunnies. So you look at the footage and it is quite overcast and you think it's not really conducive to sunglasses, but I would say that in his kit bag, that would be all he has to lean on. So you could argue that he should probably get some glasses.
Well, he's had the clear Bollets, I'm sure.
Well, they're nighttime ones, I think.
Oh, so they're different.
We have to go through his catalogue, his Specsavers catalogue, but
we will.
He should probably have the Dan Vittori.
Yeah, I think so.
Optical, for reading, for driving, on cloudy days. I think he should go that because it does look funny when it is cloudy and overcast that you're rocking the sunnies. But he does things differently, but there is a performance aspect to it. I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, well, you can't argue with his numbers.
No, definitely not. But you could argue with his numbers yesterday with the bat. I would say they weren't performance enhancing. So
okay, kit week is over, so we should probably move on from all that sort of stuff. WNCL, Richo, kicks off next week, and there's a few changes across the competition. So why don't we quickly run through them as we did with the men's state sides last year, and we'll kick off with ACT, who always have it tough. I mean, I feel like they are sort of the team that has the fewest resources to draw on. But this year they've brought in Georgia Elwes, who has played a lot for England, and she's an all-rounder. And, I mean, this is the sort of recruit that can really help take a squad like this forward, which has so many young and up-and-coming players with a lot of potential. But you do need the senior heads as well, especially considering their captain, Katie Mack, has departed for New South Wales, which is a massive blow because she's been their leading run scorer for the past few seasons.
Yeah, that hurts. It does. It's great to see, and I would love to see it in the men's game for Canberra to have a a team in that because it develops more players, doesn't it? And we had the CA11 for a while, but to have that think back to Merv Hughes playing for, the Comets and stuff like that. So it is great to see Canberra cricket does have some representation at professional level. So, but as you said, it is tough when you're coming up against the states that have, such star-studded lists. So, but I'm sure they'll be backing themselves as everyone does after a preseason to do really well.
And I also like the addition of bringing an international senior player. We see it quite a bit actually in the women's game. We've had Georgia Adams and the likes over the past couple of seasons, and it doesn't happen as much in the men's side of things anymore. It used to happen quite a bit, but now it's definitely faded out, hasn't it?
It is a good idea though, as you say, if you've got a bunch of promising youngsters coming through to add some international experience. I remember South Australia were probably the one state that did it in men's cricket for a while. Andy Flower. But also then they had Eunice Khan when I was around.
That's right. And you played with Eunice.
Well, I was in the squad, so I don't know if I played a game, but having him around, just guys seeing how they train. I remember he would do certain things at training that guys would just be like, wow, we've never seen people do that before. And it just, all of a sudden you've got a world-class player showing how to do things. And it's, I would argue, just as important, those behind the scenes, how they prepare, how professional they are. That's what kind of helps these young kids come through. So, yeah, that's really smart recruiting.
Like it. So hopefully we can see ACT string a couple of wins together this season. New South Wales, as we touched on, Elise Perry and Katie Mack are the two big inclusions to their squad. Perry, of course, was from New South Wales originally, but went down to Victoria for a couple of seasons, averaged, I think, 100 or something for them while she was down there, and now she's returned home. Katie Mack will go into the top of the order. Sam Bates is another very smart acquisition, left arm spinner. And then Kiva Bray, who broke out onto the scene in the WBBL last year, still 15 or 16, and now she gets her first rookie contract as well. So they're the reigning champs, New South Wales. It's going to be tough to beat again.
Yeah, they look strong. And those additions, as you said, anyone would want those in their state system. So obviously Elise won't play a heap initially. But yeah, to have, again, anyone of that caliber around only enhances your squad. I'll give a shout out as well to their coach, Peter Clark, who got appointed. We had him involved. He was psych, I reckon, over COVID with the Aussie men's team. Outstanding person, one of the best people you'll ever meet. He also coached University of Queensland in club cricket in Brisbane. So he's done his time. And yeah, when I saw he got appointed over the winter, I thought that's an outstanding decision. I reckon he'll do really good things there. And yeah, such a great guy. So good luck to him.
And so, yeah, as you said, he's come from a psychology sort of background. He was with the women's team as well, I think, the Australian team for a little while. What is he going to bring a different perspective, do you think, to coaching ranks? Because Gavin Twining, who was their coach, he's now taken up a role with the Australian team. So they've gone from maybe a more traditional coach to somebody more outside the box.
Well, that's why I like it. I think there's different pathways that can get you to the same spot as someone else who's played, a lot of cricket professionally. So I just remember from my experience having him around during COVID, we were in those bubbles, we were in quarantine in New Zealand, all this stuff. And he was just always this consistent, calming presence to have him around, someone to talk to about, things you wouldn't normally go to a coach with. And then all of a sudden now he's a coach. I'm sure he's going to bring those same strengths to the table. So I do love it when you do see a coach who's been appointed a professional, top level coach that's done it a different way. So as I said, good luck to him. Hopefully it's a really successful summer.
Queensland have lost the past two WNCL finals, so they'll be keen to go one better this season. They've made very few changes actually to their squad. They've kept the bulk of that team together. Courtney Sipple is the big one who leaves for Tasmania, but they've brought in two young fast bowling prodigies in Lily Hamilton and Ruby Strange. Ruby just had a really good KFC T20 Max, actually, but they do have the unfortunate problem of, which a lot of teams have, that they won't see a lot of their Australian players this year. Grace Harris and Georgia Voll are their two contracted players for the national side, but there isn't much room in the schedule for those girls to feature this season.
Yeah, it makes it tough, but again, most states have that problem in different quantities, so it is always the good and bad of a domestic state is you want to produce as many Australian players as possible in both male and female, but you also don't want to see the back of it. You want them around as much as possible. So it's not possible to have both ways, but all eyes will be on Hamilton. It's Jack and Louis both had her
That's
as a breakout,
true.
didn't they?
Did,
And Louis spoke so glowingly of her last week. So there'll be all eyes on her when she takes that new ball and gets it swinging. And as we said, left armers don't grow on trees, so there'll be lots of people looking forward to seeing how she goes.
Absolutely. All those live streams, of course. CA Live app.
Get your apps.
And cricket.com.au. South Australia, they have also not made too many changes. Maggie Clark, she's the big one from the Australian under-19s who comes onto that list for the first time. Josie Dooley is the out, unfortunately. She obviously suffered that incredible life-threatening injury early last year, but she's not an active member of the squad. However, her rehab remains part or under the roof of the Saka, and I'm sure she'll be welcome back anytime. And who knows, maybe she can get back to a spot where she's able to play again.
Yeah, that was Renegades last year. I remember hearing that story and then seeing her around the team. It was great to see her back around her teammates and stuff. So we always wish her well with her recovery, and hopefully we can see her back playing at some level at some point, but obviously that's not the most important thing. The Sackers, Mick Delaney, coach there. I remember having experience with him when he was a rookie-listed quick at South Australia as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, again, he's gone through a different pathway to get the job. He's been back in Canberra. He's a Canberra native, so went back there and did his time, and now second season in charge there. So, everyone's chasing New South Wales, aren't they? So that's the one with the target on their back, and they've had some success in WBBL, but again, a lot of it is on the back of their big names. So this competition is great at unearthing the next crop of talent coming through.
Holly Armitage, she's another English import, and she had a great season last year for them, constantly bashing runs in that middle order, and she's back again this season. So great news for the Sackers there. Tasmania, you're hot on them in the men's comp. What do you think about them in the women's? They obviously won 3 in a row before last season. They were finally toppled, and they haven't made a whole heap of changes. They have lost Heather Graham to WA and Molly Strano to Victoria. So they are 2 players straight out of the best 11. But they brought in Courtney Sipple, as we touched on, from Queensland. And Catherine Bryce, yet another recruit from overseas, to hopefully boost their team. So they're always going to be strong. The Tigers, they never are going to be a pushover in this competition.
Yeah, but as you said, those 2 out, Molly Strano's, her BBL or WBBL numbers up there with the best in the competition. So to lose anyone of that caliber in white ball cricket's going to hurt. And Heather Graham, as you said, her record speaks for itself. So going to be hard to cover that. But as we've already said about every team, gives opportunity to the next person, which is what you want. You want a strong squad. So, and as you also said, I have my eyes on the men's team. Well, let's see all of Tassie cricket bond together and take over domestic cricket, the males and the females. Would be a good story. So yeah, hopefully if momentum's real in sport, they'll take the momentum from yesterday and carry it on.
And they had the Hurricanes last year, didn't they? So,
yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Tassie cricket on the up.
Absolutely. Get around them. Now, Victoria, they have 6 centrally contracted players, so their depth is very much going to be tested this season. They've lost Elise Perry to New South Wales, even though they probably wouldn't have seen a whole lot of her anyway. But Molly Strano comes in straight into that best 11, no doubt, and they have a lot of young, talented players who are just on the cusp of going to that next level as well. Hasrat Gill, Ella Hayward, Sophie Day, Nick Fulton. I mean, there's a lot of names there. And then, of course, Sophie Molyneux as well. How much will she be around the national setup? And can't forget Millie Illingworth either, can we?
I was going to say one of my breakout girls, and then Sophie Day, one of yours.
Yep.
So, yep, we'll be keeping our eyes on the Vic women closely. Yeah, but I think Millie's the one I'll keep my eye on. Just that skill set, as I've spoken about, ability to bowl fast and swing the ball. Yeah, she'll be a household name very quickly if she's not already. So, yeah, I'll be watching the Victorian girls closely.
They brought out a new kit as well over the past couple of weeks. A bit of yellow on the side. Any thoughts? Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I like it. They've a bit of retro nod to the.
It's a bit retro.
What's the old Bushrangers kit, isn't it? Which is revered, I would say. Like that's one of the great. That's Warney.
Yeah, that's
Hodgie, like that great generation of one-day cricketers that Victoria produced and the amount of trophies they won. So you can never be a bad thing to pay homage to that. Yeah, they did pretty nicely.
Finally, Western Australia, they'll be searching for a big change of fortunes after they was the last placed side last season. They do bring in Emily Hoskin from New South Wales and Heather Graham from Tassie, so that's a really good start. They have lost stalwart Lisa Griffith, she's retired. But Ines McKeon, she was the star from the Under-19 World Cup and had a great WBBL, and now she gets her first full contract as well.
Yeah, interesting. Again, when you go through the inclusions, and it's the same in the men's, the inclusions and the exclusions, who's going to shape up strongest? I'll be interested to get your thoughts on that because, it's hard to go past New South Wales defending when you add, the names they have. But like we've said in the men's, when you only got 6 teams and everyone prepares, the same way every year and they're shooting for the same thing, it's so competitive and it is hard sometimes to pick a winner. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Who's got the best?
Well, who do you think when you go through those squads?
Well, New South Wales are the ones.
Yeah.
Aren't they? I also it's the WNCL is a very much different competition because you play the same side twice in the space of 3 days throughout the competition. There's a bit of home and away stuff as well, but if you're off for that weekend, you've lost 2 games straight away and given another side a huge leg up. So there's a bit of strategic stuff that needs to go into it as well.
Yeah.
And we don't see a similar thing in the men's side because while there is back-to-back Shield and one-day games, you don't have 2 in the same competition. So I really like that aspect of it, and it certainly adds another element. But in terms of the best squad, well, I think the best squads are the finalists from last year, New South Wales and Queensland. It's very hard to go past those 2, and they've just got enough depth, I think, to make up for the national ladies, which won't be there much at all this season, which is a shame. Except for maybe the final.
That's always nice.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. But there is a West Indies multi-format tour that will happen after the home multi-format tour against India. So we don't have the dates for that just yet, but it's looking like that will rub out quite a few girls at the end of the season.
Yeah, well, good luck to everyone. Starting their season, it's the best time of year when, as I said, you've been training for months, and this is the carrot that you're always, that game 1 especially is what you're thinking about all winter. So good luck to all. It's going to be, as we said, a hotly contested summer. It is a interesting competition in how they do things, but it adds such a tactical aspect, but also how they manage players.
For sure.
You can't, it's hard as bowlers to continually back up 2 and 3 days. It's interesting to watch. So, good luck to all the girls.
And that competition kicks off next week. Cricket.com.au and the CA Live app for all that live streams and all the coverage. You can find it right there. All right, Richo, we've got a Hey Richo to finish this week's episode again. And this is a good one. It's come in via email. So no audio note, which is okay. We highly recommend that you use the audio note, but it means that somebody has been using the podcast at cricket.com.au email
It works.
address. It does work.
There's a person there waiting.
Now, this one comes in from Reese Topley.
Can you Reese T? Can you read it in an English accent?
No,
a real posh.
I can't do accents.
Okay.
Maybe you can give us an example. But he asks you, hey Richo, can you rank these in order of importance to their team? So stick with me here.
Okay.
I've got 6 names, and we want you to rank them.
Okay.
Rui Hachimura to the Lakers. Mark Patini to Essex. Patrick Dangerfield to Geelong. He had written Richmond, but I'll just correct him.
Okay, yeah.
Matt Dellavedova to the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Shohei Ohtani to the LA Dodgers. And Adam Zampa to New South Wales. Can you rank those?
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
So we've got a cross code sort of thing here.
We've said with this segment that
ask you anything.
Yeah, anything. Okay. So he said Richmond for Paddy Dangerfield.
Yeah, he did.
He is a Cats man, by the way.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So he should know that.
He should know that. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I will go.
So who is the least important to that
Zampa
team?
to the Blues.
That's number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Least important.
Right.
Rui to the Lakers, Rui Hachimura.
Sure. Are you a basketball guy?
I am. I don't want to go too much into other sports territory here, but
sure.
I doubt he's that important when he's probably on the trade block. So let's just move along. I will go. Well, I'm honestly going to put the other 4 on even pegging.
Oh.
Can I do that? They're all as important as the other. The franchises and clubs are built upon those names.
Okay.
And for those that aren't listening who don't know who Mark Patini is, I know Mark Patini. He had a really successful first-class career in England for Essex and then finished at Leicester. but he was also team manager of the Melbourne Renegades when I came over to the Renegades.
Oh, was he?
So he was close friends with Andrew McDonald, who was coach of Leicester when Mark Bettini finished his career. And naturally, as you do, you get people around that you like hanging out with and trust. And so I got to know Mark from that. And he's one of those guys who you'll never find someone who's got a bad word to say about him. He's just the life of the party. One of the great, most amazing team managers you'll ever see. Just organised everything super, just the best at his job. He's now batting coach back at Essex.
Okay,
so he's got a bit of a story. Loves surfing. Just basically, he'll live off 50 cents over a weekend in Portugal because he'll go fish and then he'll sleep in a van, and just an amazing person. So if you ever come across him, talk to him.
Can you do his accent?
No, I can't. I've probably got a few voice notes in my phone that I could play, but I probably won't do that on air. But I'm going to say him, Danger, Delhi, and Shohei Ohtani are all on level pegging for mine. They're just, they're franchise altering. Well, and Delhi, you could say Delhi, the Delhi one's generous, but that 2016 run.
They don't win without him.
Exactly. And you need a little pit bull, a little junkyard dog, don't you? Getting down and dirty on the floor, getting those steals. You know, we're getting out of cricket territory here, but who could you liken him to in cricket? I'm just trying to think.
It's not going to make Rui and Adam feel too good knowing that they missed the top.
Well, Adam won't know because he won't listen. And I'm not sure this is high on Rui's.
No, probably not.
Well, it'd be nice to, but we're waiting for Japan to get really involved in cricket. So maybe this is the start of it. But sorry. But they're second and third, technically.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But great question, Reese T.
Yeah. If you're happy with that explanation, let us know. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Unplayable Podcast. A good way to finish. Little ranking system. Let's keep let's keep the questions coming. Let's keep the creation coming, and on to next week.
Yeah. Well, no. There's boundaries, but for the questions, but we're happy to. We're happy to go. You know, there's a big world out there. We're not just strictly. You know, we're people. We don't just watch cricket all the time. We've got other interests. So, as we've said, send in your best question. You never know what, it could be waiting. So,
but yes, within reason, we've had to filter out a couple.
Absolutely. And as we've said, this where you send them is a real email address, and there's a person waiting on the other end to take it. So it's a real thing. So please feel free to use it. It's a resource. There's someone who's there 24/7 getting paid to filter these emails, and we're not using it. So let's use it.
And you've got the business cards to hand out as well.
I've been handing them out everywhere I've been. So I don't know whether people are just like throwing them away straight away. So again, a resource that's being wasted. Let's use our resources.
And you weren't real hot on the idea of the Hey Richo segment at the start, but I feel like you're warming to it.
I still don't like the name.
Okay.
If honestly, can someone just send in a name suggestion?
Yeah.
To podcasts@cricket.com.au.
You've got it.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll catch you next week.